All right, welcome back to training vlog number 18. This is our last workout of week 6 of week 12, so kind of reverted back to the original routine because of my wrist. If you guys watched yesterday's video, you'll understand what's going on here. So I hurt my wrist yesterday, and I was pulling, or the day before, I was pulling a pin off the leg press to adjust the seat, and something in my wrist popped. So I'm limited on what I can do. So tonight I did some lying leg curls, back extensions, one-legged leg curls, some hip adductors, and calves. So I'm not going to get discouraged or aggravated or depressed about this. I'm just going to move forward doing what I can do. My wrist is feeling better today versus what it was feeling like yesterday. So it has definitely made improvements. So I'm actually pretty optimistic about my workout come Monday for me to be able to get back in there and train as normal. And I just have to kind of have a reality check and just remind myself, it's not about load anymore and lifting heavy weights. It's about, and I feel like this term is used too much, but time under tension. Like, it's not so much time under tension, because that's the case. I need to do like 30 seconds to minute negatives, but that's not the case. Like, I need to pick a load that's reasonably heavy where I can be explosive up with a good hard contracting squeeze, a nice 2 to 3 second negative, and then again with a full stretch and a nice hard contraction at the top, and just really burn the muscle out in about 12 reps and get a hard muscle burn in there, and just try to focus on blood volume, just getting as much blood in there and getting as big as pump as I can while I'm trying to maintain my muscle mass and lose fat, because I kind of lost sight of that for a minute. Like, the whole purpose of this is to maintain my muscle mass while losing as much body fat as possible, while maintaining as much muscle as possible, while I get my abs visible, so I can start looking at a show to compete in bodybuilding, and whether I need to do a couple weeks of weight gain to try to put some size on and recomp some muscle mass, or I just need to continue to fall through with a cut up into the show, whatever I decide to end up doing. And I kind of get carried away. So I told Richard, I was like, hey, dude, if I start trying to change things up and if I start going back to that powerlifting mentality and I'm just like, I need to lift heavy, just kind of smack me around and put me back in check and be like, no, dude, like calm down. You're going to get hurt. You're brittle. You're brittle, man.
Yeah, but I mean, it's definitely difficult to let go of old habits or just like what you enjoy doing. So like with you, like you really enjoy doing powerlifting moves and like that competition feel and everything. So having to kind of tell yourself and put yourself in that position of, okay, I need to focus more on this style because I like the body just can't handle that kind of thing anymore. It is going to be difficult to just let those go and forget all about it kind of things and just turn to this newer style, or not really newer style, but just this newer way of doing things again. So it's it's just difficult in general for you, but given time, like as your results keep coming, and then like with your abs and stuff like that, you'll get to that point where the lifting heavy is gonna hit you again, but you'll at least have like better references again of like, okay, like the last time I did this, I ran into this wall and it could have been much worse. It wasn't, but you don't want to run that risk again. Like, you want to make sure that you can continue day in, day out to go in the gym, do what you need to do without as much of a risk. Because there's always going to be a risk of like getting hurt or just overstraining something, whatever it might be. Like, it's always a risk. You could step off the curb wrong and we can like sort of thing. But
Yep.
Like it's just having something like what you're saying is like just keeping it to where it's a little bit of a lighter weight, more reps. And if you got to bang out 100 reps on something, but you get that burn and that feel at the end of it, I mean, rip out 100 reps, who cares? Whatever, as long as you're getting the results you want in the end, kind of thing. So
Yeah, and the thing too, man, so to me, the mindset of powerlifting versus bodybuilding, I want to say this real quick before I lose my train of thought, but I am proud of myself because I got hurt. I got really discouraged, and the first thing that came to my mind was eat something bad, feel good, eat comfort food, go to comfort food. But I didn't. I resisted it. I stuck to my diet. I didn't let that affect my mindset of what the actual end goal was, and I continued to push through and persevere on my diet. So, but what I was saying, so my issue with powerlifting versus bodybuilding is I don't want to offend anybody out there, but this is just how I always viewed it. Like bodybuilding is a beauty pageant, right? You're looking for symmetry, looks, aesthetics, size, build, shape, density, striations, leanness, hardness, right? You're looking at all the little nitty gritty things of what can make the body beautiful, right? I guess, and for lack of better terms, I know it's not beauty pageant, but really you're up there and you're to duns flexing and going through these like your livestock. You're basically like going through these mandatory poses and you're showing your physique and you're flexing. And then the competition is you're flexing, and then they're looking at you and be like, gee, I sure like his biceps better than his biceps, and his quads are definitely a lot juicier than his quads, right? Versus powerlifting, where it's just like, hey, this guy lifted this much. In order to beat him, I have to lift this much. And you either do it or you don't. I mean, there's rules. You have to lift it correctly. But the whole concept to me, powerlifting was actual competing, because it wasn't like you get on stage and you flex your biceps and that's it. That's all you got. Like the only comparison is my biceps to his biceps or my lats to his lats, and now they're just looking. Now, with bodybuilding, all the work and all the training and all the competitions in the gym, like the competition with bodybuilding is in the gym. You're competing while you're in the gym. You're not competing on stage. The competition's already over. Whoever wins, wins. Now it comes down to whoever just dialed in their diet correctly, because all of your training in the gym is the competition. And then you just have to get your diet dead on for the day of your show. And then once you're up there, there's nothing you can do about it. When you're competing in powerlifting, yes, the competition's in the gym, but when you get up there on the platform, you might be like, okay, I'm going to try to pull, 550. And then there's a guy in your weight class that looks like he's going to beat you. And you're like, oh man, this dude beat me on squats. He beat me on bench, but his deadlift is only 450 or 540. If I can pull 6 or 580, I'll beat his total and I'll win. And then you get that adrenaline rush, maybe take some more pre-workout, and you get up there and hell or high water, your third attempt, you give it everything you got. Or you look at his third attempt, if you're going first, and be like, in order to beat his total, I have to put this number up. So you put that number up and you go heavier than thought you were capable of. You're proud of yourself. Now it's up to this guy to be like, no, I'm going to do what I came to do and hit these numbers, or I'm not going to let this guy beat me and I'm going to change my numbers and try to beat him. And he either will or he won't. And that's the competition in powerlifting versus bodybuilding, where it's like the competition is literally every day, all day long. The competition is, am I going to eat my meal like I'm supposed to? Am I going to overeat today or undereat? Am I going to get my hydration in? Am I going to take my supplements? Am I going to do my cardio? Am I going to get this extra rep? Am I going to do this extra set? Am I going to go to the gym today? Am I going to make excuses? Am I going to oversleep, or am I going to do what I need to do? Or I'm going to get a lack of sleep. That's the bodybuilding's competition. And then, like I said, once you get to the stage, the competition's already over. Now it's just judging who had the best amount of work ethics and who was able to do their diet correctly to dial in for the show. And I guess that's the part that kind of deterred me and turned me off from bodybuilding back then versus powerlifting. Because powerlifting, it's like literally when you're on the platform, because you don't know like who's coming with what numbers in your weight class. And for all you know, you could get completely crushed and someone's there who's just outlifting you by 700 pounds. But you get what I'm saying on the difference.
Yeah. And it's always going to be like you're saying with bodybuilding, like it's a game of opinions more than anything else. Like it's the judge's opinion of who they like best, sort of thing. Whereas powerlifting it's a game of numbers. So like, yeah, you have a more straightforward kind of outcome when it comes to powerlifting over bodybuilding. But in general though, like they both have their own perks and things like that. People will enjoy one more than the other, or they can enjoy both equally, sort of thing. But as long as you're doing something and you're enjoying what you're doing, I think the competition thing, it just gives you something more to like. You're like oriented, mm-hmm. Like you like something to focus on, and that's your goal. It gives you something to kind of head towards, and as long as you have that, and whoever, like as long as they have their goal, their specific mindset, like that's going to help them in the long journey anyway.
Yeah, like I said, but to me, that's the two major differences between powerlifting and bodybuilding. So I need to change my way of thinking to like, not only is the training important in the diet for powerlifting, but it's when you get on the platform that you really start noticing what you can do up there compared to your competitors versus like bodybuilding, where it's like every set, every rep is the competition. So I just got to change my way of thinking, and it's a different difficult. So I just got to really hone that in and everything. But I think that's going to be it for me on this one, man. Is there anything else you want to add?
Nope, sounds good.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching and tuning in on this workout vlog. And remember, if there's anything that happens in your life, like what happened to me, you get hurt, you get injured, negative outside interferences or influences, like negative people, just ignore them, man, and don't let them bring you down, and don't let them deter you from your path of where you're heading. And just remember, no agony, no bragging.
Yep. Catch you later.